Waiting is hard. It's so hard. Most of us don't like to wait. And I think that certainly in my lifetime, some of the greatest or most popular inventions and innovations have come because we wanted to make life simpler and faster and try and minimize the amount of time we have to spend waiting. And I think in a lot of ways, that's what makes the Advent season so hard, because it's a season of waiting. Over the course of these 4 weeks, we're asked to wait for a lot of things. But I think that being made to wait helps us better understand what it is that we're preparing to celebrate at the end of this journey. One of the songs that we sing during this time of year that probably means Advent to me more than any other, because it's probably the one I heard the most growing up, is an old French hymn called O Come Divine Messiah.
O come Divine Messiah, the world in silence waits the day when hope shall sing its triumph and sadness flee away. Sweet Savior, haste, come, come to earth, dispel the night, and show thy face, and bid us hail the dawn of grace.
You see, 2,000 years ago, they'd already been waiting centuries for the coming of a Messiah. Israel had heard hundreds of years before Jesus was born from prophets like Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel, that God was going to send a Messiah to do something about their struggles, about the darkness and the forces of evil that were ruling the world around them. And for many, they got tired of waiting and they gave up. But you hear in Israel heroic people who exercised heroic patience, people like Simeon and Anna, whom Mary and Joseph and Jesus will encounter when Jesus is brought to the temple a few days after he's born. Simeon and Anna had heard God's promises and they believed them. Even though they weren't sure how God was going to come through with it, even though they weren't sure when God was going to come through with it, they believed God's promises were to be trusted. And we are supposed to learn to be like them. We're supposed to be the ones who look around at the darkness of our own time, at the struggles of our own world. The fact that we, again, could use someone to show up and bring light to a time of craziness and darkness. And once again, there are a lot of people who lose hope in these times. In this moment that we find ourselves in now, Advent, these 4 weeks of preparation to celebrate the birth of Jesus, this is another period of waiting, something we can't control. No matter how much we want it to, Christmas doesn't come any faster. But one of the things we see absolutely clearly in the birth, the life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus is just how clearly God keeps every promise he has ever made. And so when Jesus says to us, I am with you always, we can believe this. Sure, we want to speed everything up. We don't want to spend more than a minute and a half in a drive-through, and we want our internet to be lightning quick. But one of the things you find when you learn to wait well, you discover that God is here. That's what not only Simeon and Anna found, but the humble shepherds and the wise men, all of them found it in the context of this Christmas story. That in quiet, hidden, and unexpected ways, God had been working. And God had been working in ways they had never dreamed or imagined he was working. We're meant to find the same thing. That the God who is love has never stopped working. And it may be that he's working in your life in a quiet, hidden, and unexpected way. But in much the same way as Simeon and Anna discovered that their faith wasn't in vain, that all of God's promises could be trusted, I pray that this Advent season is a time where you are able to learn to do the same. To realize that God really is with you. To realize that the Savior whose birth we celebrate at the end of this journey is a Savior who came for you.
O come, Divine Messiah, the world in silence waits the day when hope shall sing